Why does it help the economy to legalize people here illegally?
Now, there's a lot of problems with illegal immigration and a lot of things that we need to deal with, and we need comprehensive immigration reform because we got those issues. And I want to secure the borders, and I want bad illegal immigrants to be kicked out of the country.
The crimes most often committed by those here illegally are serious ones.
There's been a surge of illegal immigrants, many of them children, in recent months, and as Anna Werner reports, some landowners there have had enough.
On almost a daily basis, we are bombarded with stories, broadcasts, and calls to action concerning the US-Mexican border. Media and political sensationalism has created a perception of an increased and imminent threat to American lives and society. From stealing American jobs to surging drug deaths and the proliferation of gang violence, all of these problems are being blamed on undocumented immigrants, and, more specifically, Mexican undocumented immigrants. As President Trump continues to militarize the border, the sentiment that these issues are spiraling is more pervasive than ever. Because of this sensationalism, most people in the US are drawn to the 1,900-mile border to the south when they think about border issues. However, there is another porous border that is almost 3 times that length and certainly worthy of attention. Though less at the forefront of median political discourse, the US-Canadian border has become subject to similar border issues, and as a result, has seen increasing regulation in contemporary times. There was once pride in the fact that the northern border was the world's longest undefended border. Post 9/11, it is now a source of vulnerability for the United States. Concern over this idea has once again been heightened in the wake of the current refugee crisis. In 2017, there were 50,405 asylum claims made. A number of push and pull factors are creating this mass flow of migrants into Canada from the US and the rest of the world. In terms of push factors, first, there is the fact of the global refugee crisis itself. Record numbers of people are being displaced from their homes by persecution, war, and terror. Second is the current US administration's policies with respect to not only accepting asylum seekers, but toleration of immigrants in general.
Now I hear we want to take in 200,000 Syrians, right? And they could be, listen, they could be ISIS. I don't know. Did you ever see a migration like that? And I'll tell you right now, and I'm putting everybody on notice, and hopefully this gets outside of this room, and I guess it will with all these crazy cameras going back there. I'm putting the people on notice that are coming here from Syria as part of this mass migration, that if I win, they're going back. They're going back. I'm telling you. They're going back.
As a result, refugees fearful of government crackdown in the US are attempting to illegally cross the border into Canada in increasing numbers, viewing the administration in Canada as being more tolerant and compassionate towards asylum seekers.
America's problem now. The people are good. They take it back home, so my home is not feeling well. Somalia is not like before, so it's a problem. Fighting, so I can't go back my home.
The most obvious pull factor for these border crossers is a loophole in the Canada-US Safe Third Country Agreement.
20,000 asylum seekers have illegally crossed the borders into Canada. This Prime Minister's policies encouraging illegal immigrants to jump the queue while those who follow the rules have to wait longer.
As the refugee crisis continues and more people take advantage of the Safe Third Country Agreement, Canada's refugee system is feeling the strain. Shelters are struggling to house increasing numbers of people, refugee lawyers are overwhelmed, and the IOB's 60-day hearing limit has been thrown out completely. Canadian cities simply aren't able to handle the recent increases in the influx of refugees in the long term. In April of 2018, Toronto issued a formal appeal to the federal and provincial governments of Canada for help dealing with the number of refugee claimants in its shelter system.
I'm reiterating today my urgent request to provincial and federal governments to take immediate action to relieve the City of Toronto of this pressure and help find accommodation for these families.
Not only are the available support systems in Canada bogged down by the sheer number of claims, but many of these border-crossing refugees must literally risk life and limb to enter Canada and have a shot at asylum. The illegal crossings have forced many of them to face extreme weather conditions, which has led to cases of amputation due to frostbite and even death. For the welfare of all refugees in Canada and the US, increased cooperation between the two governments is necessary in the future.
The last thing Canadians expect is for me to come down and lecture another country on how they choose to govern themselves.
Only time will tell how long the Canadian administration can continue to carry the burden alone. Until then, the lives of thousands of families hang in the balance.
But I do believe there needs to be tackled from a compassionate side. Not everybody is lucky enough to be born in a country like the United States, but that does not mean that other people have the right to break the law. I definitely understand that. However, for many people who cross the border, it's a necessity of life and death.